It's Mel Green
and Olivia Newman
of Brunchwives, and today we're checking out Big Oak Tavern with Mr. Nate Armstrong.
We're excited to try the drinks and the food, so get ready.
Stay tuned. Cool. So we're here with Mr. Nate Armstrong at Big Oak Tavern. Thank you for letting us come by and see you on Saturday. I know brunch is popping and busy. So can you tell us a little bit about how Big Oak Tavern came to be and how you decided to jump into the restaurant industry?
Oh goodness. So really, let's start from the beginning. So my grandmother made cakes for a living.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time in the kitchen with her and just learning recipes and learning how to make certain cakes. But it's really, like, baking was never my passion, but saw flambe for the first time and was like, oh shit, I can play with fire. And I was like hooked in a sense. So I ended up taking like every foods course and ended up going to Johnson & Wales. So now I've been in the restaurant business for 20 years. This is my first restaurant that I own. My last, I guess, stint in the restaurant business was, I spent 9.5 years at Stony River Steakhouse. Some as executive chef, and then I kind of worked my way up into my last 5.5 years as a general manager. And I really, like, that restaurant just is like sucked life out of me, right? Mm-hmm. To the point to where I like lost all passion for food. So I ended up leaving Stony River and working for Cisco Food Service as a marketing associate. So my job was to go help small businesses or small restaurants operate effectively like they would a corporate restaurant.
Right.
And then I actually, started showing one restaurant like how to cut steak to save money and what to do with the waste of that trimming. And boom, then I taught them how to read a P&L. Then I taught someone how to do this. Then I just started to get back into the field, and it was like a different feeling than working in a corporate restaurant.
Right.
So then I looking, I was like, man, these restaurants really operate differently, right? Because you don't have anyone over your head and have to get approval for doing the most basic things like sponsoring a golf tournament. So that's how my passion started growing back regarding food. Some of my chefs that were some of my clients would ask for recommendations for food specials, and it's just oh my gosh, I have my passion back. And then I had the opportunity to get back in this building because the person that was running the building was moving to Hilton Head. So initially, I knew someone that wanted to buy a restaurant, so I called her and she came and looked at the building, but things didn't work out. And then I guess the owner actually heard about me and wanted to sit down and meet. And we actually talked for maybe 8 hours at a Starbucks.
Wow.
Talking about hungry, all that, but it was a great conversation. So it was a point to where he made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. So that's how I took over the Grub Gastropub. So that was the name of this restaurant for 2 years before I took over in November of 2019. And then I wanted to create a name. I hated that name, the Grub Gastropub. So I wanted to create a name that kind of fit Roswell.
Yeah.
And then we played with a few different names, and I was just one day I was just looking outside and I was looking at the big oak tree, and I was like, man, you know what? We could really call it Big Oak Tavern. That tree has been in Roswell for over 100 years, so man, that's exactly what we want to do. So we want to be here for the next 100 years and continue to grow and help grow with the community. So that's how the name came.
So I guess you talked about this a little bit before we started officially interviewing. What was it like in 2020? Like just starting your business and then having to deal with a pandemic, and then how did Roswell support you in that year?
Oh man, we had the best grand opening. The mayor came, we had a few senators come. My sister surprised me, ended up crying in some pictures in front of everybody. And so it was just like, it was a great feeling because like at first I never thought I would own a restaurant because I was like done. And to go from that to being a part owner then to now a full owner of a restaurant, it is incredible. So February hit, that went well. Our grand opening was February 5th, and we started booking, like we had a buyout for a graduation. It was 300 people, it was 3 families that was gonna come in, and then we were doing the Kentucky Derby for 1,500 people, and then we had the Roswell Beer Festival. We were supposed to do, we were supposed to be in the VIP tent, which was like thousands of people were supposed to like come in. So it was gonna help get our name out. But then March came around, and March 17th, oh, it was a bad one. It's a bad one. To the point to where like sales went from like some sales we were growing to nothing. We didn't have like a huge clientele that was like, hey, let me come support Big Oak Tavern, because we were so new during when the pandemic happened. So like initially that would think it was a Thursday. So that Friday we did $27.
So who inspired you? You kind of talked about that as well. Even with that inspiration, what would you say that favorite menu item would be from that inspiration?
Well, when I look, so I don't consider like an inspiration from like another chef, but my uncle has been my ultimate inspiration. I used to, like every summer I would go up to Ohio and hang out with him, and, because he was a regional facilities manager for General Motors. So like he had like, when you saw him, his presence was like there, and it's like, man, I want to be like him, but I want to be like him in my own way, right? So I always looked up to him, and yeah, he's always been my motivation to do more, be more, and give more. So as a favorite dish, my favorite dish is the shrimp and grits. People really love them, and my staff loves when I make the grits because I put love in everything that I do. So and when you can tell, it's like when you taste the food, every recipe was like created by me, by my hands, like, and it's like been tested and tested.
Yeah. So I guess piggybacking off of family and cooking, we've been stalking your social media for like the last year. We've known about you for a while. So we know you have like a young family and everything. Do you use them as like your test subjects? They try everything. Is this a family-run business? Does your wife come and help?
Oh no, my wife isn't crazy. She actually works for United Healthcare, and she works from home, so she takes care of the boys. The boys are super picky. Well, my oldest is super picky. His name is Avery. So he doesn't eat like a lot of meat. I think he's gonna be like a vegetarian, maybe vegan soon. But my youngest, he'll eat anything. He's like Mikey.
Yeah.
His name is Ashton, but he's awesome. He thinks he runs like the entire household.
Yeah, I love it though. So do you think they're gonna grow up and want to take over the family business, or do they have a line of sight? No, you don't want them to. Do they have a line of sight into what you've accomplished yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they've seen me on TV a few times. I was on Katie Couric and Fox 5 News, and it's like
I really have been on your social media more than I'm proud to say.
It's like, that's my daddy.
Oh.
So yeah, so it's super awesome. It's a great feeling to to know that, like, at least I make them proud. That's at the end of the day, that's really all it's about.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully soon I'll be able to spend some more time with them. So I hired a GM. Her name is Cordelia. So hopefully, you know, we get to the point to where we continue to grow and I can take a step back and still like be here. I'm always here, but I just want to be here in a different capacity than working in the kitchen every day or making margins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What advice would you give? Because you have such a journey to get to where you are. Everything you've done from working at Cisco and being a GM at different places have all kind of dust you out for everything that happened in 2020.
Right.
What advice would you give to someone who is looking to get into the industry? Because a lot of people are doing their own thing after being laid off or you know, just seeing things that have happened in 2020. What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur?
Well, as far as opening a restaurant, definitely, like, I would talk to anyone. Because what you have to figure out first is so many sacrifices that you have to make running a restaurant. So I've been in the restaurant for 20 years. So essentially, like, the busiest days of the year are the busiest days of the year for the restaurant, so you don't spend that time with your family, right? So that's a sacrifice that you gotta make. I mean, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Halloween, those are like days that, yes, man, I want to be home, but I want to enjoy it. But when you make the decision to be in the restaurant, that's what you're signing up for, right? But at the end of the day, there's so many rewarding things being in a restaurant. You meet so many cool people. You learn so much. I mean, you network with so many people that no one really gets the opportunity to network with. So when, at the end of the day, when like I struggle, right? You reach out to your friends that, you know, that you've talked to and you make connections with, and they come and support you. And that's really what it's about. So when, like, if you do it, don't do it because you want to make $1, right? Because that's the last thing that you're gonna make in a restaurant, because we make pennies on the dollar for every dollar we sell, right? So it's the love and the passion that you have for food and really service. And I mean, you have to love this industry to be in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's period. That's it. You gotta love it.
That's some solid advice. For real.
Thank you. Yeah. So where can people find you at on social media?
Oh,
Your physical
yeah.
address?
Everything is at Big Oak Tavern. So Big Oak Tavern on Facebook, www.bigoaktavern.com, and at Big Oak Tavern on Instagram.